Support for this series comes from NPR sponsor GoDaddy. Making a different future starts with you. That's why GoDaddy does more than help you find a name you can create, you can sell, and get found online. So any small business can be a driving force to create change or build an empire. So whatever it is you have in mind that will help make a different future, find everything you need to get started at GoDaddy.com. Because the future isn't decided yet. It's up to us to make it happen. Start different at GoDaddy.com. Hey, it's Guy here, and welcome to How I Built This Fellows edition from NPR. For this year's How I Built This Fellowship program, we selected 10 early-stage entrepreneurs looking to take their big ideas to the next level. Today, I'm talking with Kaitlin McGreyes, founder of Be Her Village. For anyone who has had a baby or has a friend who has had a baby, it might not come as a surprise that Americans spend billions of dollars each year on baby registries. But Kaitlin says that expectant families today, they're concerned about more than just cribs and strollers.
Parents in the United States and this next generation of parents are waking up to the fact that their needs are different from their parents. They don't have or want big houses filled with stuff. They don't want thousands of dollars of baby gear. They want impactful gifts. They want people to take care of them, people to cook meals for them, teach them how to take care of their babies, and make sure that they're whole and healthy and supported as they welcome their baby into their lives. But right now, the existing gift registries don't address that. They're filled with all kinds of stuff for our babies. So much stuff. And the stuff creates more stress, right? You're already stressed because you have this sweet, adorable, lovely little newborn bundle, but it's hard to take care of a newborn. And it's even harder when you have a house full of things to clean and dust and launder, and all of these gifts create more work for parents rather than easing their burden.
So the idea is, instead of a registry where you just get stuff for somebody, a registry where you can pay for a night nurse or somebody to cook you meals after the baby's born, or like a doula to be in the delivery room with you. That's basically what the idea is?
That's exactly the idea. The bigger idea is that parents need to be cared for to take care of their babies. And so instead of looking at babies as this individual little thing that needs their own, items, we're looking at babies as needing well-supported parents, and we're getting gifts to make that happen so that the baby can have a better experience with parents that are fed and cared for and feel good.
Kaitlin, I know that you're a mom of 3. I'm a dad of 2. They're older now, 10 and 12, but I intimately remember those. Certainly with my first one, the just coming back from the hospital and being like, what do we do now? and we were alone, my wife and I, because he was born in Boston. We were living there that year. My family was all, in the West Coast. My wife's family was in Canada, and it was a lot. Tell me how you came up with this idea. I imagine it came from a personal experience.
It really did. It happened in so many places. There are so many seeds that were planted, but I think the one was really in that moment after birth, after the baby shower. The gifts were all given. I had all the things. After the birth, everyone asked about the baby. And then, like you said, you find yourself alone, and it a little bit doesn't matter if your family is nearby. You find yourself alone. You find yourself completely out of your element. Your body has gone through something huge. No matter how you've given birth, your body is completely disrupted and needs healing. Your day-to-day routines are completely upended. Everything gets flipped upside down, and you find yourself utterly alone in so many ways. And that's what happened for me. I was 3 days postpartum with a cesarean section that I didn't plan for and didn't necessarily want. And I was trying to breastfeed my baby, and I was trying to get us both to the pediatrician's appointment. I didn't know anything, and I didn't know what I was going to need, because at my baby shower, I got diapers and cute baby clothes and baby toys and bibs. And I didn't realize that what I was really going to need was somebody to come into my house and care for me. Somebody to say, "You're doing a great job. This is going to be okay. This isn't forever. Let me take the baby. Let me show you how to do this.
And those services are often only available to people with means, right?
You've really hit on something big here, Guy. And this is where we look at these countries that have low maternal mortality rates. We look at countries that have low postpartum mood and anxiety disorder rates, where women are supported and thriving in motherhood. And we see what they have. They have these postpartum supports. They have people walking them through their pregnancy. And everyone has access to the type of care that Be Her Village is providing. In our country, only people with resources get that. Only people that have thousands of dollars to spend are able to access that sort of care. And so we have this two-tiered system that's unfair, and women in our country are suffering because of it.
I want to ask you about the business side of this, because this is also a business. It's a mission, and easily something you could probably do as a nonprofit, but this is a business that ultimately will need to become sustainable. So talk to me a little bit about how the business would work.
It's funny you mentioned nonprofit. I like to say we're not a non-for-profit, but we're not profitable, right? So that's where we are right now. Because this is so much about increasing access, we couldn't have obstacles for the new parents. So the new parents, every step of their interactions with our communities, with our registry, and with raising funds for these services is absolutely free for them, and it always will be. That will never change. For our gift buyers, there's a small platform fee, and that covers, the credit card costs. It's pretty standard across the board whenever you're interacting with a company like this. And then where we're actually going to make our money, and by make our money, I mean move this forward, right? We are organizing the birth workers. And so what we're doing is actually creating this widespread network of micro businesses. The people that are supporting parents are in the niche right now. They're not in the mainstream. And so we're bringing them together and we're saying, hey, you're not competing against each other. Let's work together. Everybody come onto this platform, throw in a couple of bucks a month, and then we're going to reach the masses together.
It would be a little bit like, a sort of like a TaskRabbit or some kind of service where people would offer their services, doulas and home care nurses and others, and they would pay us a monthly fee to be on the site to sort of advertise their services.
Right. So what's interesting, Guy, I have to admit, being part of this fellowship, we've changed. We've changed how we're approaching this. And we're thinking more about building community now rather than the business side of things, because the business and the revenue and the profits will come. But the most important thing is going back to what we've been talking about this whole time, which is creating the community for everyone to join. So right now, businesses can sign on for free, and there will be upgrades, and it's a freemium model, but it will be accessible for them as well, because the businesses are people like me, Guy. They're not people with MBAs. They're not people that are actually going out necessarily for entrepreneurship. The people in this birth worker industry are heart-led, and they want to be highly impactful with mothers. So we want to give them that tool and say, hey, you want to go and put your energy into working with mothers and making a change? Great. Plug into this platform, and we can connect you with the families that need your services.
Tell me about the team that you have right now. It's you, of course. Anybody else working on the project with you?
Once I created Be Her Village, I realized this has to happen, and this idea is so much bigger than just me. And so it kind of knocked me down a few notches, and it forced me to ask people for help and to call people up that I might not have spoken to in a long time and say, hey, I'm building this. I need help with this. Can you help me? What has shocked me and is so beautiful about this process is that people are willing. People are showing up. I have people on my team that have quit their full-time jobs to come work for me for free because they believe in this and what we're building. So my team is made up mostly of people that are smarter than me because that's really what it comes down to. It's this recognition that I have the passion, I have the lived experience, and I have the vision, and I can get people excited about that vision. And part of the people that I'm getting excited about it are people that have the skills, that understand how to grow an organization, that know how to run it, that know how to create partnerships, and can get us where we need to be.
Kaitlin, We have interviewed the founders of The Knot and of Zola and of other sites that are focused on weddings and wedding registries. I think a lot of people would agree that when you do have a baby, you do need some stuff, right? Like you do need a good stroller, and you do need a crib, and you do need, a diaper changing table. Not forever, but you do need those things. Is there a world where Be Her Village does both?
My truest answer is I don't know, because I don't know what next week holds. So I don't know what the future holds. But I'll say this. I think there's room for both. I think there's room for traditional baby registries that have all the baby stuff. And I think there's room for Be Her Village as well.
As part of the fellowship program, one of the sessions you attended was on leadership and company culture. It was led by Yvonne Hutchinson and Sadie Lincoln, both awesome friends of How I Built This, and they've been to summits in the past, and Sadie was a guest on our show, so was Yvonne. What stood out for you from that session?
So 2 main things stood out for me. One was when I asked Sadie, how do I instill the company culture? How do I take my values and make sure that it reaches everybody throughout the organization from the top down? She flipped the script on me and she said,
it's more like you were saying, how do I bring those values down? It's actually bring those values up out of them, right? That's how it's worked for us. So everybody, that's what I value. And that's how it links to our mission and our vision and this problem we're solving. For people to have everybody in your organization to have that aha for themselves is really key.
The company values come from the bottom up. You hold the meetings with your team, with the community that you're building internally, and you ask them why they're here. You ask them why they showed up, and those are your company values, and that's what the company embodies. The other thing that stood out for me was Yvonne talking about her experience as a Black woman with pattern matching in her own company.
As you all know, as an international human rights lawyer, I went to Harvard Law School, and then, I started my company. Well, my second hire was an international development person who went to Harvard Kennedy School, and we got along swimmingly. Our third hire was almost an international development person from Harvard Kennedy School, who we got along with swimmingly. And we kind of had to recalibrate very early on because there was a pattern matching thing. I also, and this is just something that I really like to do, every now and then I'll hire an agitator on purpose. So somebody whose orientation is a little bit to shake stuff up, not for the purposes of destabilizing, but somebody who I know is just not necessarily going to agree with everything I say. They have a different point of view. And if we can work together well, that doesn't always happen, but if we can, that person can be really additive to your team.
So in that moment, I'm looking at my company and we have big visions about addressing Black maternal mortality. And then I look at my organization and I've been pattern matching. I've been picking out people that look like me and have the same background as me and talk like me. And after that meeting, we actually were able to reach out to somebody in the community that we had been talking to and bring her on as a community ambassador. She is a Black grandmother doula from, inner city Detroit. And she is helping us in this diversification and breaking from our norms and our patterns. And so it's painful work to do that. It's not easy to say any of this. It's not easy to recognize it, but it also is part of not only the anti-racist work that our company is working on, but the internal work that we have as white women in this industry.
That's Kaitlin McGreyes, founder of Be Her Village. Thanks for watching How I Built This Fellows Edition. For more information about the Fellows, go to summit.npr.org/fellows. This message comes from NPR sponsor GoDaddy. Making a different future starts with you. GoDaddy helps you create, sell, and get found online so you can create change or build an empire. Start different at GoDaddy.com.